May our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us. Isaiah chapter 21. The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it comes from the desert, from a terrible land. And a grievous vision is declared to me. The treacherous dealer deals treacherously, and the spoiler spoils. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travails. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart panted. Fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure has he turned into fear to me. Prepare the table. Watch in the watchtower. Eat, drink. Arise, you prince, and anoint the shield. For this has our Father in heaven said to me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he sees. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, A lion, my master. I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here comes a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her Elohims he has broken to the ground. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of our Father in heaven of hosts, the Elohim of Israel have I declared to you. The burden of Dumah, he calls to me out of Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, The morning comes, and also the night. If you will inquire you, return, come. The burden upon Arabia is in the forest in Arabia. Will you lodge, O you traveling companies of Dedanim? The inhabitants of the land of Tema brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled, for they fled from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For this has our Father in heaven said to me, Within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar will fall. And the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, will be diminished, for our Father in heaven, Elohim of Israel, has spoken it. Chapter 22. The burden of the valley of vision. What ails you now that you are wholly gone up to the housetops? You that are full of stirs, a tumultuous city, a joyous city. Your slain men are not slain with the sword, nor dead in battle. All your rulers are fled together. They are bound by the archers. All that are found in you are bound together, which have fled from far. Therefore said I, Look away from me. I will weep bitterly. Labor not to comfort me, because of the spoiling of the daughter of my people. For it is a day of trouble, and of treading down, and of perplexity by our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts, in the valley of vision, breaking down the walls, and of crying to the mountains. And Elam bare the quiver with chariots of men and horsemen, and Kir uncovered the shield. And it will come to pass that your choicest valleys will be full of chariots, and the horsemen will set themselves in array at the gate. And he discovered the covering of Judah. And you did look in that day to the armor of the house of the forest. You have seen also the breaches of the day of David, that they are many. and you gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And you have numbered the houses of Jerusalem, and the houses have you broken down to fortify the wall. You made also a ditch between the two walls for the water of the old pool, but you have not looked to the maker thereof, neither had respect to him that fashioned it long ago. And in that day did our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts, call to weeping, and to mourning, and to baldness, and to girding with sackcloth. And behold, joy and gladness, slaying oxen, and killing sheep, eating flesh, and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we will die. And it was revealed in my ears by our Father in heaven of hosts, surely this iniquity will not be purged from you till you die, says our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts. Surely this iniquity will not be purged from you till you die, says our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts. This says our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts. Go, get you to this treasure, even to Shebna, which is over the house, and say, What have you there? What have you here? And whom has you here, that you have hewed you out of sepulchre here, as he that hews him out of sepulchre on high, and that graves an habitation for himself in a rock. Behold, our Father in heaven will carry you away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover you. He will surely violently turn and toss you like a ball into a large country. There will you die, and there the chariots of your glory will be the shame of your father's house, of your master's house, your master's house. And I will drive you from your station, and from your state will he pull you down. And it will come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with your robe, and strengthen him with your girdle, and I will commit your government into his hand, and he will be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So he will open, and none will shut, and he will shut, and none will open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he will be for a glorious throne to his father's house. And they will hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity, from the vessels of cups, even to all the vessels of flagons. In that day, says our Father in heaven of hosts, will the nail that is fastened in the sure place be removed, and be cut down, and fall, and the burden that was upon it will be cut off. For our Father in heaven has spoken it. Chapter 23. The burden of Tyre. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in. From the land of Chittim it is revealed to them. Be still, you inhabitants of the isle, you whom the merchants of Zidon that pass over the sea have replenished, and by great waters the seed of Sihor, the harvest of the river, and her revenue, and she is a mart of nations. Be you ashamed, O Zidon, for the sea has spoken, even the strength of the sea, saying, I travail not, nor bring forth children, neither do I nourish up young men, nor bring up virgins. As at the report concerning Egypt, so will they be sorely pained at the report of Tyre. Pass you over to Tarshish, howl, you inhabitants of the isle. Is this your joyous city, whose antiquity is of ancient days? Her own feet will carry her afar off to sojourn. Who has taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes, whose traffickers are the honorable of the earth? Our Father in heaven of hosts has purposed it, to stain the pride of all glory, and to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Pass through your land as a river, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no more strength. He stretched out his hand over the sea. He shook the kingdoms. Our Father in heaven has given a commandment against the merchant city to destroy the strongholds thereof. And he said, You will no more rejoice, O you oppressed virgins, O you oppressed virgin, daughter of Zidon. Arise, pass over to Chittim. There also will you have no rest. Behold, the land of the Chaldeans, this people was not, till the Assyrian founded it for them that dwell in the wilderness. They set up the towers thereof, they raised up the palaces thereof, and he brought it to ruin. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for your strength is laid waste. And it will come to pass in that day that Tyre will be forgotten, 70 years according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years will Tyre sing as an harlot. Take an harp, go about the city, you harlot that has been forgotten. Make sweet melody, sing many songs, that you may be remembered. And it will come to pass after the end of 70 years that our Father in heaven will visit Tyre, and she will turn to her hire, and will commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. And her merchandise and her hire will be holiness to our Father in heaven. It will not be treasured, nor laid up, for her merchandise will be for them that dwell before our Father in heaven to eat sufficiently, and for durable clothing. Chapter 24. Behold, our Father makes the earth empty and makes it waste, and turns it upside down, and scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it will be, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land will be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for our Father in heaven has spoken this word. The earth mourns and fades away, the world languishes and fades away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore has the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourns, the vine languishes, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets cease, the noise of them that rejoice ends, the joy of the harp ceases. They will not drink wine with the song. Strong drink will be better to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone, and the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When this it will be in the midst of the land among the people. There will be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning of grapes when the vintage is done. They will lift up their voice. They will sing for the majesty of our Father in heaven. They will cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore, glorify you, our Father in heaven, in the fires, even the name of our Father in heaven, Elohim of Israel, in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe to me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yeah, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. And it will come to pass that he who flees from the noise of the fear will fall into the pit, and he that comes up out of the midst of the pit will be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth will reel to and fro like a drunkard, and will be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof will be heavy upon it, and it will fall and not rise again. And it will come to pass in that day that our Father in heaven will punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they will be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and will be shut up in the prison, and after many days will they be visited. Then the moon will be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when our Father in heaven of hosts will reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously. Chapter 25. Our Father in heaven, O Father, you are my Elohim. I will exalt you. I will praise your name, for you have done wonderful things. Your counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. For you have made of a city of heap. For you have made of a city and heap, of a defense city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It will never be built. Therefore will the strong people glorify you. The city of the terrible nations will fear you. For you have been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat. When the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall, you will bring down the noise of strangers, as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible ones will be brought low. And in this mountain will our Father in heaven of hosts make to all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death in victory, and our Father in heaven will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people will he take away from off all the earth, for our Father in heaven has spoken it. And it will be said in that day, Lo, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is our Father in heaven. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. For in this mountain will the hand of our Father in heaven rest, and Moab will be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down from the dunghill. And he will spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swims spreads forth his hands to swim. And he will bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands. And the fortress of the high forts of your walls will he bring down. Lay low and bring to the dust, even to the dust. Chapter 26. In that day will this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will our Father in heaven appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open you the gates, that the righteous nation which keeps the truth may enter in. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Trust you in our Father in heaven forever. For in our Father in heaven is everlasting strength. For he brings down them that dwells on high. The lofty city he lays it low. He lays it low even to the ground. He brings it even to the dust. The foot will tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. You, most upright, does weigh the path of the just. Yeah, in the way of your judgments, O Father, have we waited for you. The desire of our soul is to your name and to the remembrance of you. With my soul have I desired you in the night. Yeah, with my spirit within me will I seek you early. For when your judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of our Father in heaven. Father, when your hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they will see and be ashamed for their envy at the people. Yeah, the fire of your enemies will devour them. Father, you will ordain peace for us, for you also have wrought all our works in us. O Father, our Elohim, other masters besides you have had dominion over us, but by you only will we make mention of your name. They are dead, they will not live. They are deceased, they will not rise. Therefore have you visited and destroyed them, and made all their memory to perish. You have increased the nation, O Father. You have increased the nation. You are glorified. You have removed it far to the ends of the earth. Father, in trouble have they visited you. They poured out a prayer when your chastening was upon them. Like as a woman with child that draws near the time of her delivery, is in pain, and cries out in her pangs, so have we been in your sight, O Father. We have been with child. We have been in pain. We have, as it were, brought forth wind. We have not wrought any deliverance in the earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Your dead men will live together, with my dead body will they rise. Awake and sing, you that dwell in dust, for your dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth will cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter you into your chambers, and shut your doors about you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For, behold, our Father in heaven comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also will disclose her blood, and will no more cover her slain. Chapter 27. In that day, our Father in heaven, with his sore and great and strong sword, will punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he will slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, sing you to her a vineyard of red wine. I, our Father in heaven, do keep it. I will water it every moment, unless any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he will make peace with me. He will cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel will blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. Has he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? In measure When it shoots forth, you will debate with it. He stays his rough wind in the day of the east wind. By this, therefore, will the iniquity of Jacob be purged. And this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he makes all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder, the groves and images will not stand up, yet the defenced city will be desolate, and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There will the calf feed, and there will he lie down and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they will be broken off. The women come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it will come to pass in that day that our Father in heaven will beat off from the channel of the river to the stream of Egypt, and you will be gathered one by one, O you children of Israel. And it will come to pass in that day that the great trumpet will be blown, and they will come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and will worship our Father in heaven in the holy mount at Jerusalem. Chapter 28. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, our Father has a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflows, of mighty waters overflowing, will cast down to the earth with the hand. The crown of pride, the drunkard of Ephraim, will be trodden underfoot, and the glorious beauty which is on the head of the fat valley will be a fading flower, and as the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he that looks upon it sees, while it is yet in his hand, he eats it up. In that day will our Father in heaven of hosts be for a crown of glory, and for a diadem of beauty to the residue of his people, and for a spirit of judgment to him that sits in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Whom will he teach knowledge? And whom will he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the beasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. But the word of our Father in heaven was to them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. Wherefore, hear the word of our Father in heaven, you scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge will pass through, it will not come to us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore, this says our Father in heaven, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation of stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believes will not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hail will sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters will overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death will be disannulled, and your agreement with hell will not stand. When the overflowing scourge will pass through, then you will be trodden down by it. From the time that it goes forth, it will take you. For morning by morning will it pass over, by day and by night, and it will be a vexation only to understand the report. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. For our Father in heaven will rise up as in Mount Perazim. He will be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Now therefore, be you not mockers, unless your bands be made strong. For I have heard from our Father in heaven, Elohim of hosts, a consumption, even determined upon the whole earth. Give you ear and hear my voice, hearken and hear my speech. Does the plowman plow all the day to sow? Does he open and break the clods of his ground? When he has made plain the face thereof, does he not cast abroad the fitches, and scatter the cumin, and cast in the principal wheat, and the appointed barley, and the rye, and their place? For his Elohim does instruct him to discretion, and does teach him. For the fitches are not threshed with the threshing instrument, neither is the cartwheel turned about upon the cumin, but the fitches are beaten out with a staff, and the cumin with a rod. Bread corn is bruised, because he will not ever be threshing it, nor break it with the wheel of his cart, nor bruise it with his horsemen. This also comes forth from our Father in heaven of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel and excellent in working. Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add you year to year, let them kill sacrifices. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there will be heaviness and sorrow, and it will be to me as Ariel. And I will camp against you round about, and will lay siege against you with a mount, and I will raise forts against you, and you will be brought down, and will speak out of the ground, and your speech will be low out of the dust, and your voice will be as of one that has a familiar spirit out of the ground, and your speech will whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of your strangers will be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones will be as chaff that passes away. Yeah, it will be at an instant, suddenly. You will be visited of our Father in heaven of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire, and the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, will be as a dream of a night vision. It will even be as when an hungry man dreams, and beholds, he eats, but he awakes, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and behold, he drinks, but he awakes, and behold, he is faint, and his soul has appetite, so will the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry you out, and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For our Father in heaven has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, has he covered. And the vision of all is become to you, and as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray you. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray you. He says, I am not learned. Wherefore our Father in heaven said, Forasmuch as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far away from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men will perish, and the understanding of their prudent men will be hid. Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from our Father in heaven, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who sees us? And who knows us? Surely your turning of things upside down will be esteemed as the potter's clay. For will the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or will the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? It is not yet a very little while, and Lebanon will be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field will be esteemed as a forest. And in that day will the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind will see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also will increase their joy in our Father in heaven, and the poor among men will rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproves in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore, this says our Father in heaven, who redeems Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob will not now be ashamed, neither will his face now wax pale. But when he sees his children, the work of my hands in the midst of him, they will sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and will fear our Father in heaven of Israel. They also that erred in spirit will come to understanding, and they that murmured will learn doctrine. Chapter 30. Woe to the rebellious children, says our Father in heaven, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore will the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help, nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. The burden of the beasts of the south, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the branches of camels, to a people that will not profit them. For the Egyptians will help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this? Their strength is to sit still. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of our Father in heaven, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not to us right things, speak to us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, this says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity will be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly at an instant, and he will break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He will not spare, so that there will not be found in the bursting of it a shred assured to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For this says our Father in heaven, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest will you be saved. In quietness and in confidence will be your strength, and you would not. But you said, no, for we will flee upon horses, therefore will you flee, and we will ride upon the swift, therefore will they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 will flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 will you flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on a hill. And therefore will our Father in heaven wait, that he may be gracious to you, and therefore will be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For our Father in heaven is a Elohim of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. For the people will dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. You will weep no more. He will be very gracious to you at the voice of your cry. When you will hear it, he will answer you. And though our Father in heaven give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet will not your teachers be removed into a corner any more, but your eyes will see your teachers, and your ears will hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk you in it, when you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left. You will defile also the covering of your graven images of silver, and the ornament of your molten images of gold. You will cast them away as a minstrel's cloth. You will say to it, get you hence. Then will he give the rain of your seed, that you will sow the ground withal, and bread of the increase of the earth. And it will be fat and plenteous in the day. In that day will your cattle feed in large pastures. The oxen likewise, and the young asses that ear the ground, will eat clean provender, which has been winnowed with the shovel and with the fan. And there will be upon every high mountain, upon every high hill, rivers and streams of waters in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall. Moreover, the light of the moon will be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be sevenfold as the light of 7 days, in the day that our Father in heaven binds up the breach of his people, and heals the stroke of their wound. Behold, the name of our Father in heaven comes from far, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire, and his breath as an overflowing stream will reach to the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity, and there will be a brittle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. You will have a song, as in the night, when a holy solemnity is kept, and gladness of heart, as when one goes with a pipe to come into the mountain of our Father in heaven, to the mighty one of Israel. And our Father in heaven will cause his glorious voice to be heard, and will show the lighting down of his arm with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones. For through the voice of our Father in heaven will the Assyrian be beaten down, which smote with a rod. And in every place where the grounded staff will pass, which our Father in heaven will lay upon him, it will be with tabrets and harps, and in battles of shaking will he fight with it. For Tophet is ordained of old, yeah, for the king it is prepared. He has made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of our Father in heaven, like a stream of brimstone, does kindle it. Father willing, we will continue with Isaiah chapter 31. May our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us. Peace.